Here we go, people. Please welcome to episode number 281 of the CobraCast podcast with me, your designated driver, because we're drinking coffee today. So it's a beautiful day to drink coffee. What do you think, Jace?
Every moment of the day is a coffee moment.
All right, man. Special guest today. Got the boys from Dangerous Toys. Let's hit it.
You're listening to CobraCast.
The cobra injects deadly venom through its fangs, like toxins through a pair of hypodermics.
This is the CobraCast, and here's your host, Bobby Sharron.
Love that English chick. English chicks are the best. Here we go.
All right.
Episode 281 with Jason McMaster, Mark Geary,
Hello.
the one and only Mark Geary from Dangerous Toys.
Correct. How
We're
are
gonna
you?
we're gonna start with you, man.
Okay.
I work with kids like Jason does, not on a full-time basis with the School of Rock kids. We always talk about drummers, man.
Sure.
And, you know, like you're like the Phil Rudd of like the Austin music scene, dude.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, that's like, you know, in a drummer, as you know, that's a monster compliment because
Sure.
Phil Rudd is a bad motherfucker. I'll tell you what. And,
That's
you know,
a lot of pressure, Mark.
That is. Well, funny you say that because people ask me about, well, you know, 100 times we've been asked about who the drummers. Obviously, I was Joey Kramer and Phil Rudd,
Yeah.
kind of who I listened to before.
just get up on that like just a little
You
bit.
know,
There you go.
I listened to all the guys, but yeah, Phil Rudd and those guys are still doing it, and they still sound great. But yeah, that's nice.
Well, no. The reason why I say that because you're in the pocket so hard, you know, and that's something hard as a drummer. It's something hard to achieve, you know. And there's not a lot of guys that can do that, you know, on a constant basis. And you know, if you listen to any of the Toy stuff, it's like it's in the pocket. When you're recording that stuff, were you doing click tracks or anything? Or?
No, not so many click tracks. The first record, we kind of used the click track to get us in.
Yeah.
And then we just turned it off after that. Same on the second record. And so we weren't really click track oriented. Pissed was a little more click tracky.
I remember it being all of anything we've ever done has been pretty much a click track to get us in.
Yep.
And I think what we're doing right now, we're trying to, we're recording it in the modern age now, so we want everything to be on the grid, in case we have to bail on a part.
Right.
And I just think that's smart and frugal.
Yeah, and we're using it now too, just because you can fly things in and use that part again. You don't have to record so much. So I think the click track's kind of the new way now.
Yeah.
Certainly wouldn't ever use it live or anything like that. But yeah.
Well, I tell a lot of those kids that are drummers coming up, you know. I said, man, check Phil Rudd, you know, and then you know, because listen to those records. That's what it's all about. That's what a drummer does, what a drummer's supposed to do, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, if you listen to a song called "For Those About to Rock,"
Yeah.
put that on as your Bible and play that slow groove that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like lost when they've got to play that slow, dun, dun, that real slow groove.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that. And that's kind of what.
Well, that's the thing when, you know, an AC/DC lost Phil, you know, and then was it Chris Slade that came in next?
Yes.
No, it wasn't Chris Slade.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Simon Wright.
Simon Wright came in.
Yeah.
The whole band changed.
Yeah.
The whole band changed, and now I think Chris Slade's back, and the band's not the same anymore, man, without Phil.
Sure.
Phil's, you know, the biggest part of that band, I think.
Yeah,
Besides
no,
Angus,
he
of course,
invented,
you know.
that style of drumming is kind of his own, and then people just kind of copied it.
Yeah, it's just, you know, laying back, but I tell those kids, listen to this, man, you know, this is what you
yeah.
want to, you know.
Sure.
But anyway,
Definitely a Bible to listen to.
fuck yeah, man. You know, that's how I learned to play with all that stuff. You know,
I like tricky drummers, but I prefer drummers who play the song instead of show off.
yeah, totally solid. But I'm going to start this off. We're going to go back to the beginning of Toys and stuff. I know you were in Watchtower way long time ago, and you guys were looking for a singer. I mean, Watchtower was such a different animal than what Dangerous Toys was. I mean, so when you approached him, I mean, were you kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that because it's, you know, kind of, you know, not say cock rock, but you know what I mean? Kind of that kind of stuff.
I was actually already moonlighting. I was already playing like, you know, covers.
Yeah.
Because that's what these guys were doing. They had their own tunes, but they were also doing like, you know, circuit touring from here to Nashville and back, playing clubs. And that was kind of a sought after fun life for a lot of sort of like, you know, cover bands. If you could get like 10 clubs that would book you on a run, you could do, you know, once a month. That's awesome. And I knew that these guys were doing that under the name Onyx with their other singer.
That's right. I remember that.
And I had met some of the guys around town. A couple of them had come to see Watchtower in the late 80s when we used to do shows at the Ritz. And I was working, it's funny, I was working at Pantera's Pizza, which is now a Taco Bell, not that far away from here, actually. That's back down the road. It's at Rutland and North Lamar, just north of Runberg. There's a Taco
I know what
Bell
you're
there.
talking about.
Yeah, that used to be a Pantera's Pizza.
Oh,
So,
wow.
and
Yeah,
everyone knew, this is pre-digital age, everyone in town knew that I worked there, right? So people would come in and go, it's a Watchtower, dude. Yeah, you know.
I remember the wristbands. You used to wear these, the black wristbands you had with spikes on them or something.
Yeah, I still do. They've shrunken quite a bit, but I still do that. Anyway, and a couple of the guys came in there and hit me up about the gig. Like Mike Watson came in there. I think Watson came in there looking for a job. And prior to that, I think it was Tim came in there.
Tim Tremblay.
Yeah, came in there. And they just asked me flat out. And I like I said, I was already working with some dudes that were calling themselves ETA. Do you remember that?
Man, it sounds familiar. I can't put my finger on it though.
Well, Jay Haygood was in
Jay,
there, of course, and then Ron was on bass, and Danny Aaron is how I met Danny Aaron.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Was in that group, and it was all covers, and it was in Bon Jovi, Rat, Whitesnake, Striper, whatever. It was all that BS, and then these guys, I think Tim at least heard about that and was like, well, man, since we're not working with Onyx anymore, I wonder if Jason would just kind of step on into this. And that's exactly how it happened.
We had some shows, and we had already booked, and we were like, whoa, what are we going to do? We want to play these shows.
Yeah.
Because everyone went to the back room back then. That was kind of where you went.
I lived there too, yeah.
And it's a funny story.
This would have been, just to put the old man on this, it's 80. We're talking about like October of 1987.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
So we, Tim Tremblay actually took us over to the house where Watchtower rehearsed. That's how I met Jason myself.
Right.
And we were pounding on the door to get in, and they were practicing.
Weren't you guys borrowing the drum riser?
We were borrowing a drum riser to take to Nashville.
I got a good story about that after you're done.
The first song, they were doing Temple of Syrinx when I was at the door, knocking on the door. Now he was singing that, and I was like, holy crap. So
just
it was
a regular day at practice.
Regular day of practice. Watchtower playing the side at 2112.
Let's just play 2112. Yeah.
No, it was really cool. And we were knocking at the door, and they wouldn't answer, and they wouldn't answer. And we were like, man, finally they stopped. They came to the door, and I was like, wow, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that was really the funny, heard him singing Rush, the first thing I ever heard him sing. So kind of strange, but.
But it wasn't long after that I ended up over at Mark's house, you know, just learning all their cover tunes.
Right.
And we didn't start thinking about putting anything. I mean, obviously it happened sooner than I'm probably saying right now, but it wasn't immediate that, well, come on, Jason, write some lyrics and let, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And how that came about was, not to get ahead of the questions you might have for us, but how that got stapled out was I decided, well, like, I don't know if I feel comfortable singing her lyrics. You know,
Right,
you
yeah.
have material that we could just peel her lyrics off and we could put different lyrics. And then some of the songs that Mike Watson had written that she was singing, we kept those.
Okay.
And one of those was JD Lady, which was actually this close to being on the first record, it's still a great song. And even Tim, that Start the Party song was fun.
We opened with
had
that.
we had some really cool tunes
Yeah.
that never saw the light of day that I don't know if they would translate now because it's well, I guess they would. It's still boogie rock, and that's kind of what, you know, we've always held that moniker because it's kind of what we do, boogie metal, whatever you want to call it. It's not metal, but it's not just straight. You know what I mean? It's,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
totally,
it's a
100%.
thing. It's a thing. A lot of people go, yeah, you guys have that Southern thing. Southern, maybe we stole ZZ Top and married, you know, ZZ Top. would you please marry Aerosmith and call your babies Dangerous Toys? And that's,
I mean, the way that I saw you guys, how I came across you guys was on Headbangers Ball. You know, and I saw the video, and I ran down to, you probably remember the store. I don't think they had them, was Strawberries Records and Tapes.
yeah.
They had them up north. They're done now. But I remember going in there and buying the vinyl. Bought, you know, the first one and the second
Summer
one.
'89.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But the funny thing, story about, I don't know if you know this, but when Toys were cleaning out their equipment locker back 20 years ago.
Let me interrupt for a second. That would be the South First.
Yep. We remember it. I can see.
Yeah, it's just a storage unit. It was just a storage unit.
yeah.
It wasn't like we had a warehouse.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Dangerous Toys
Kiss-
HQ.
Kiss
you know,
warehouse.
it
It was a block from my house.
Yeah, it was
Was it really?
just it was dingy, and yeah, we had a bunch of junk in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So anyways, Jay was good friends with Scotty at the time.
Yeah.
Actually, Jay, I talk to Jay every once in a while. He lives up in Washington now.
So tell him we said hey.
Yeah. Well, the mothership of where I work is up in Washington, and he lives there in Portland. So it's like a hop, skip, and a jump for where I got to go. So every time I go up there, have dinner with him. Still playing Kiss. I think it's a Kiss tribute band and a Zeppelin tribute band.
Oh,
now.
fun.
Yeah. So at the time, you're going back. This has got to be 97, I'm going to say. And Scotty said, "Hey, man, we got these stage stairs and a drum riser, which used to be REO Speedwagon's drum riser."
Yep.
Set carts and
Yeah.
and stage props. The set carts were basically these sort of tumblers that were welded together that would mock up to look like Marshall stacks, but what they were actually exactly what I'm describing. Your cabinets stacked up inside of them and were strapped in. Did you guys take those or just the stairs?
We took the stairs and the
Okay.
drum
And
riser.
the drum
Oh,
riser.
okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the drum riser is actually right across the street because our buddy, what do you call it, has it. He bought it from me. So the funniest thing about the stairs is we used them on one gig. It had to be El Paso or something. At the time, we had a bunch of pyro. So not knowing they were aluminum, we put the pyro underneath to blow the fire through the stairs.
grates.
And
Right,
it
right.
pretty much melted a hole like this in each of them.
Wow.
Like,
Oh shit.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know where those stairs are now. I think they're part of the Freak House thing. I think Freak House still has them, maybe.
That's all from the Judas Priest, Alice Cooper tour.
Is that what
we
it was?
did. Yeah, those stairs were from that tour.
Yeah, that's from the Operation Rock and Roll. I guess it's we can do whatever we want.
We can do
but
whatever we want.
Jump around a
Jump
little
around.
bit on the timeline, on the calendar
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
right? We got the call. It would have been after the second record's release, summer of '91, and we got the call from management about that tour. And it's like, well, I got you guys a tour. You're gonna go out with Judas Priest, Alice Cooper, Motorhead, and Metal Church. And we're like, what? And anyway, the stipulations when they use smelling sauce to wake me back up, because that's a dream.
That's a monster
For
tour.
all
You
of
guys,
us.
yeah, for no
For all
shit.
of us. We're
Crazy.
touring with our idols. Just kill me now, right? So, when you go on a tour like that, there's this shopping list of shit, and I do mean shopping list.
Yeah.
You have to spend $10,000 to even start.
Right.
Okay, do you have your 40 by 35 backdrop? Check. that costs you $6,000 or
Oh,
whatever.
Jesus
Back
Christ.
then, now it would cost you more.
Yeah.
Now it's all digital Turbotron. They just
Right,
it's a
right.
computer throwing a backdrop up there. Anyway, so do you have your set carts? There's another, $4,000 or
Right.
whatever. That includes drum riser, etc. Everything's got to be on wheels. Thank you. Good night. Unplug, roll off.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Alice Cooper's up next, and it's like boom. There's another 5 minutes after you say thank you, good night. There's another. We're like, oh, okay. And they're like, everybody's got to be wireless. So it's like, oy vey, all this shit is happening, and it's. Literally, they're giving your tour manager a budget, a shopping list, da-da-da. You have to spend all this money before you make anything.
Well, you
the
got to pay it
thing
back
is,
to the record company.
Just having your name, right.
Yeah.
You learn that word recoupable real
Recoup,
quick.
yeah, recoup.
Your name is this big, of course, on a poster with, all those other
Right.
badasses, and worth every penny. Because of the name recognition.
Oh, yeah.
Who you're
That tour
in-
was monstrous.
You're in cahoots with it. Well, arguably, it was a flop. Even though they only canceled a handful of dates, the ticket sales were a little bit odd on the underside, maybe for the reason that the wind was blowing the dollar bill somewhere else.
Oh, yeah,
the
totally.
trends were changing.
It was a total trend thing. Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. When I look back, I'm fine with that because there was a lot of crap that was sort of under the moniker of like butt rock or hair metal or whatever the hell you want to call it. We were just called ourselves a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
But all of the other stuff that got signed in the class of '89 there was
Right.
a lot of doo-doo.
There a lot.
A lot of doo-doo. And
Yeah.
and we might even be, some people might think, yeah, like your band, Dangerous Toys, that's doo-doo as well. I'm standing right next to you going, you might be right, but a lot of coattails on the Guns N' Roses coattails. A lot of the labels wanted another. Oh yeah, hey, send an A&R. Go get us one of those. And they're
Well,
pointing at GNR.
that's where like Pariah sort of came in, because they kind of came in at that
See,
time.
It's the same kind of thing. Could
Yeah.
happen. But their record didn't even come out till '92.
Well, they shelled that forever. Yeah.
It's too late.
I know.
And the thing is, they were badass.
Oh, they were killed. I had
But
Shandon up here. Yeah.
But no one would argue that now, and I just wonder what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened if their record would have came out in '89 with ours.
Yeah. I mean, that whole 90 to 93, 94 period was really crazy because a lot of the 80s bands, like you had Warrant, Bullet Boys, they tried to take that left turn and try to do something way different. And those are my favorite records from those bands, And
Well,
I think
it happened to them, it happened to us.
yeah, you did the artist thing, and that was way off what you guys were doing,
Well, part of that has to do with you were losing original members just because of the climate.
Yeah.
What? We're not on the major label anymore? I'm out. That's pretty much what happened.
Oh, is that what it was?
Danny.
Really?
It's pretty much well, it's a lot of people what I call jump ship.
Yeah.
When you don't have the big record deal anymore. Well, what are you gonna do? You just gonna mow lawns now, or are you gonna play rock and roll and go on the road? It's what you fucking do. Write a song, go play it.
Yeah.
We'll go play it over here now. Oh, we'll go play it over there. Oh, we've done this for a year. Let's do it again. And that's what you do. I feel like I'm Brian May in the Queen movie now. It's what you do.
Right.
Album tour.
Yeah,
album tour. You don't jump ship because the paycheck's going to be smaller.
Yeah.
You don't buy a new wardrobe because flannel's in. Whatever it is.
But like out of that mix, I mean, you got Paul Idell from Dirty Looks,
Thank the Lord.
It's funny because my old band in Connecticut opened for Dirty Looks, and I talked to him about that gig, and he's like, I don't really remember that show. I said, well, I got all the prints from it, so
Well, we were kind of trying to get him for a while when we didn't have Danny. We were looking at Paul right away.
Really?
And he was finishing up some Dirty Looks.
Yeah, I don't remember what month it was that Danny hopped, but and it's all fine now. I mean,
totally.
We were kind of scared for a second, but it's like we're sitting around. It's kind of the same thing, sort of like a transcend between Tim and Danny as it was with Paul. It's like we couldn't get Danny right away because we were sort of like obligated to make the record. So the first record, a lot of people don't realize, it's just the four of us who are still in the band
Right,
on
right,
that record.
yeah.
There's no second
That's why we
guitar.
say all original members.
Yeah,
because that's
it's-
who made the record.
It's everybody who's in the band now. And the only lull was when Mike Watson split for a little while. and we did a tour without him. But
Right, yeah.
and then we did the tour. Well, we did a couple of tours without him.
You played bass on that.
On the artist tour.
Yeah.
And on the
Remember that.
Piss tour, we had Michael Hannon from Salty Dog.
Salty Dog, yeah.
But anyway, it was a lot like what you were saying. It was like this sort of churn when, like, well, you know, with the Danny thing, it was like you guys were like, well, you know who we need to get. You get that kid from ETA, Danny. He was in that band Hostile.
I remember
at
that.
the time, right?
I
With
remember-
Troy Haas.
I remember
right?
that, yeah.
And they were good. And Danny was shredder. Everyone knew Danny could play.
Right.
And I knew him from, you know, I had him in my back pocket already from the ETA thing. And I think we were in Los Angeles making a record, and well, you know who we need to get? It's that Danny Aaron kid. So we flew him out, jammed a couple songs. That's good enough. Let's go to the bar. You know, that's pretty much what happened. Well, the similar thing happened is when Danny split, we were like, well, you know who we need to get? It's Paul Idell, because we were already friends with him.
Really?
But-
how did that come about?
Go for what
Because
you were saying.
they're like a New York band, so
Well, we just we were kind of accidentally got into Dirty Looks sitting in a hotel room, and Max Norman, our producer, produced that
Max,
record.
yeah.
And we
But he
heard some
wasn't our
stuff.
producer yet.
He wasn't quite there, but Paul was just. I mean, he's the new guy who's been in the band 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a thing. But
sort of like Ronnie Wood.
Well, exactly. But, you know, Paul's just a rock. He's just a pro, man. He's great. And we just wanted him. And at first he said, well, I got to finish up some commitments to Dirty Looks.
Yeah.
And he did. And then Henrik decided to kind of put it to bed for a minute after that. And then he came down. And when Paul got to practice to what was an audition, wasn't really needed to be an audition, he knew everything.
Yeah.
Paul walked in the door and knew all the harmonies and all the songs and said, which harmony do you want me to sing?
That was in January of '94.
He walked in the door.
3 months later, by March,
Yeah.
we were in Los Angeles making Pissed.
Wow.
So he
Paul-
learned all of the new stuff off of 8-track demos.
Good Lord.
Him.
And we were kind
That's
of
what it
mutual
was.
friends. We learned later on that Henrik and the Dirty Looks guys were fans of ours, and we were fans of them. So it kind of was a cool little thing.
Before each of you know, respective camps were like hugging each other, we were already like we were fans.
Right.
Yeah. To put a time stamp on what Mark was talking about, it's like we're at a gig in San Antonio. We're at the hotel just getting ready to go to the venue, listening to 99.5 KISS, Joe Anthony. And Joe Anthony comes on the clock radio in a Holiday Inn and says, this is a new band, new record, Dirty Looks, Cool from the Wire. And they played Oh Ruby. And I'm like,
Right,
hey,
yeah.
Mark, are you hearing this?
Remember the video?
Are
Yeah.
you hearing this? Oh, my God.
I had that on cassette, believe it or not.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, we were
I
nuts
still
for it.
have it too.
As soon as we heard the
Yeah.
first bar of the song, we're like, oh, shit, this is awesome.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is before we knew anybody's name in Dirty Looks.
Right.
What was the name of that band again? You know, it was killer.
Yeah.
Sitting in a hotel room.
We were doing covers. That was 87.
Wow.
That was right when Cool from the Wire came out. That was 87.
That was probably around the time we opened up for him. Man, no, we opened up for him probably in 80, let's say 89 or 90 maybe?
Back room?
Possible.
No,
Back
it's in
room?
Connecticut.
Oh, in Connecticut.
The Wooden Rail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember Henrik had a bottle of Jack Daniels and he was passing around to the crowd and just sloppy drunk.
When you could do that.
Sloppy drunk he was. I think he died of liver failure, didn't he? Pretty much.
About 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty sad.
It was.
us.
It's always sad when someone passes like that, you know. So, hey, let me ask you something. And I always wonder, since I got someone's been there and done it, you know, it's kind of cool to ask these kind of questions. When you sign a deal, a major record deal, when it comes to producers, does the label pick one for you, or do you have a list of who you can pick from? I mean, Max Norman and what do you call it? Roy Thomas Baker. It's like Jesus Christ. It's like dream guys. You know what I mean?
Yes.
From a fan standpoint, that actually from when you were a young punk, like putting the record on, or even like going to the record store on your Mongoose or your Schwinn
Yeah.
to buy records
Huffy.
because you're addicted to rock and roll, and like reading the back cover and all of the liner notes and soaking it up like
Yeah.
it's drugs. That is how you know those names.
Yeah.
And when you think Max Norman, you think Crazy Train.
Yeah, all the
Crazy
Ozzy stuff.
Train's
Yeah.
on the radio right now 1 million times.
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
And there it is again. And there it is again
Yeah,
in every country. And that record holds up. And I was just talking about this on KOBJ with Laura Slow. She's like, man, that still stands up. And I'm like,
Well, we also knew because of Dirty
You can't
Looks.
argue with
You
the
can't
Crazy
argue with it.
Train.
He had done that Dirty Looks record, and that's what we were listening to. And we said, "Who's that guy?" It sounds like Jason even said, it sounds like a sledgehammer hitting on the hood of a car, his kick drum. And it was like, wow, listen to
'Cause
the
it
drums
kinda
on that.
does.
Well, I mean, for Scotty to have him doing the
Randy
Randy
Rhoads,
with
are
the
you
Randy
kidding me?
stuff, he's probably losing his mind.
Scott has the polka dotted flying
Does
V
he?
when
Does
we
he?
met. He had it. A lot of questions. Hey, what happened on that? And we were kind of asking him questions and picking his brain about things.
We
And
got
Bob Daisley and all that stuff.
We got Randy
wow.
stories with Max, and we got Freddie stories with Tom.
A lot of Queen, Freddie stories. You can just imagine
Roy.
us.
Dude, I'll tell you what, that Roy Thomas Baker's done so much. I mean, all the Queen stuff, the Cars stuff. I mean, the list goes on and
Cheap
on and on.
Trick.
Cheap Trick. I mean,
He was the
Journey.
it guy back
I would,
in
that's so. How do you pick somebody? Do they have like a list you pick from, or I mean,
Both.
Yeah.
There's like a short list, and how you guys feeling about it? Well, here's who we like.
oh, okay,
And it ultimately, I think ended up with here's who we like,
oh really?
and we were fine with that because it's like, well, shit, who do I pick? These guys are all incredible. Look at their pedigree. It's like, what do you do? Ultimately, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here. I wish we would have stuck with Max for the second record.
Really?
Well, the label kind of leaned us to try somebody new.
Yeah.
That's why they were saying, hey, we actually talked to Chris Sangarides, who did the Priest record, and we talked to Jim Faraci, who did a bunch of records. There was other guys we talked to.
The crappy thing about that is I literally, and this is so embarrassing, this is like confession time, is we're in a Mexican restaurant in East Austin back in 1990, I think, and we're doing it all over again, the sort of like wine and dine trip where you
Right.
got your record label dudes there, you have your publishing people there, and there's 2 or 3 producers that are sitting at the table, and you haven't really been introduced and sucked into and soaked up exactly who they are. And I'm sitting next to Chris Sangarides, who produced like Thin Lizzy and Tigers of Pantang
Oh, wow.
and
Yeah,
all
that's
of the
right.
new wave of British heavy metal shit that I'm into, and I don't even know who he is. And I've already been told sort of in secret who's been chosen to do the record.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, whatever. They've already chosen who it is anyway. I let the cat out of the bag, and Chris Sangarides is right next to me, who goes silent as soon as I say that.
Yeah, he wanted to do it.
And I didn't say, "Oh my God, Chris Sangarides,"
Right,
because
right.
I didn't really realize who it was until after. And I walk out with a restaurant with my foot hanging out of my mouth after I'm like, you know what I mean? And it's like it was like I got cold shoulders. It was truly embarrassing. And that's kind of how sometimes those meet and greets can go.
Yeah.
You're sitting next to these legendary producers who I wish I would have become friends with.
Yeah.
So
what
it's
was
a
it ab-
sticky situation that was created by? I mean, I can blame it on my label people for not going, Jason, this is Chris Sangarides right here.
Right.
Scott really wanted him.
One of your
Really?
idols.
Scott was really wanting Chris because
He did Painkiller.
That's enough right there.
Yeah.
He did like half my record collection.
It's
was done
He's
by-
passed away now. I didn't know.
Yeah,
if
he,
you knew
really?
that.
Yeah, he died. He was in the Anvil movie when Anvil was trying to make that comeback, and they were doing talk shows, and they made the movie. Chris Sangarides is in the movie.
I remember the name. I remember the name from that Anvil thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Rob and Lips went to England and recorded
That's
that
right.
record.
Yeah, that was him. Okay.
Yeah, that was him. The glasses and the
I know
brown
you're talking
hair,
about,
and
yeah,
They're,
yeah.
they're in England making a record, and that's Chris Sangarides. They're at his
Wow.
house making a record.
So what was it about Roy that kind of like hit you the wrong way? I mean, you said you would rather work with Max. No, hit with you were for the second one. Work with Max again.
That's hindsight,
That's
maybe.
Well, you didn't know till you get in there and you do things and the way you do things and how you did it. And he brought his own engineer. So I think that a lot of it, Roy doesn't actually get on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Roy sits back and we ate a lot of food. Roy was a food ordering guy. Roy was the best host you ever met, but he didn't actually hands on. So we brought in an engineer from England. and maybe we lost something there, but actually just
I don't know if we lost any momentum in the studio. I just think that there was some different things happening on the back end of the production of the record. Like, I feel like I've heard Mark say, and this was a long time ago, but
Right,
I think I recall Mark saying something like, guitars sure are swimming in a lot of reverb. When we left LA, there was tones on this record, you know what I mean, or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
sure.
And we actually have camcorder footage of us in the studio, and you can hear our tracks come back completely dry,
oh yeah,
and it sounds pretty cool.
yeah, it was smoking.
And we don't really blame Roy. We don't really blame anyone. It's sort of a hindsight thing.
Yeah.
And we sure had a, like he said, we sure had a
I
good
think a
time
lot.
with Roy.
You know, there's old saying, sometimes you lose it in the mix,
Right.
Well, because when we left, we really liked all of it, and in fact, I sent a track home to my wife and showed her some of the drum tracks, and she was like, "Man, that's sounding really good." Dude."
Yeah.
And then in the end, they seem to be squashed down a little bit. But if you A/B the two records, you hear two different kind of records. But Roy, I mean, I wouldn't trade it again. He was meeting a guy like that.
It's
and
legendary.
he told us
Yeah.
the Queen stories and how the headphones in the bucket, and we did that too. And
There's video footage of us hanging out with Roy, and he's not really telling Queen stories or anything, but you can see right away in the video footage he was very different.
Yeah.
And we ran into Neil Sean, and we'd record all day and go to the clubs, and we'd run into Neil, and it's like, "Hey, Neil, nice to meet you. Hey, we're in the studio with Roy right now." And he's like, "Oh, my God, whoa, that's crazy. I could tell you some stories." And he did, but I won't.
Right.
I
Yeah.
won't tell you any.
I'm sure there's a
It's
bunch.
none of our business.
Just like the Lemmy story. It's probably the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of
oh,
scary.
million of those.
Yeah, I heard about you and Lemmy, so.
Yeah. But you know who can, boy, to be able to say
I
that
know that
you
you-
knew
yeah,
those
I know,
dudes
yeah.
and you toured with them, and it's just like, wow, we were some lucky guys.
In the Queen movie, when you see the actor that is playing Roy and they're at the farm making the record,
Yeah.
that's not the Roy we met.
Right.
They've dumbed down the character that is Roy Thomas Baker in the movie.
He's more like kind of flamboyant, right? He's
Very
kind of
flamboyant.
very shiny.
Yeah, very
Yes.
shiny.
Oh yeah.
He's loud and fun, and every day, morning, dears.
Yeah.
That's him.
Really?
Yeah, he was,
Morning, dears.
he's
you know.
great.
Yeah. I remember a Freddie story that he told me one time. It's like he'd be, getting Z's in the hotel, and someone would be like, "Roy, Roy, come on, Roy." And 5 o'clock in the morning, Freddie is all blasted,
Oh, shit.
knocking on the door, trying to wake up Roy to go to the studio and cut vocals.
Wow.
At 5 o'clock in the morning. So Freddie was completely fearless, just like the movie poster, ready to
Yeah.
party or rock and roll 24/7, and it ultimately probably killed him. But at the same time, I really think that to be able to, like Mark was saying, to just hear Roy speak
Yeah.
of rock royalty like that and go, yeah, Freddie was just ready to fucking go to the record and work in the studio. It's really where he shined, probably
Yeah.
as much as he did on stage.
Well, I mean,
in
he
the
was such a
studio.
big part, like the Cars. He was a big part of those guys. He produced, I think, almost all their stuff, right?
Well, he told us a story about that. He said he went to see him. They called Roy and they said, "Go up to Boston or wherever he went." And they said, "Roy, I want you to go see this band, the Cars." He said he just went up to see him. He turned up, watched the show, and he said, "Dude, we're done here. Meet you in the studio." He said it was that simple. He saw him, watched one gig, and said, "Meet us in the studio." That's a Roy story. So he only saw him one time. It was
Well,
like,
that
boom.
means they had to go. He had to go to a rehearsal for pre-production,
Yeah.
to make sure the songs were tight.
I
Or
mean,
maybe you should go halftime here. You should put a break here.
Right,
or
right.
maybe change keys here or whatever. Just slight arrangement. It's
I mean, those first two Car records are they're
they're a slam dunk.
classic.
Every
classic.
song is like, you know what? And
Yeah.
the guitars on there are
Yeah,
godly.
Ellie Easton, yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Godly. Yeah. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole.
I know.
Yeah, that's a
what we
rabbit
do
hole.
on here. I like rabbit
Max
holes.
has a rabbit hole. Roy has a rabbit hole.
sure.
What are you gonna do?
Anyways, I think we need to talk about the show this Saturday night.
Oh yeah, we have a show.
You're probably looking at me like, why you're the craziest guy on the planet to put this thing together.
Well, we probably should have led with that. It's kind of the reason that we're here.
Right, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Saturday night show.
Saturday night.
Live, yeah.
The CobraCast Birthday Bash Slamboree,
Yay.
starring the one, the only Dangerous Toys, and this is the second year for you.
Yeah, Broken Teeth.
Broken Teeth did it last year.
Let me stop. Let me hold. Put a
pause.
Tie a body to the railroad tracks real
All right,
quick,
brother.
so that thank you for including us.
Dude, this is
We
an
appreciate
honor.
it.
This is an honor for us to have you guys do it.
We love it.
No, it's kind of a big deal because when you think of music and the scene, and Tony when he was with Push Monkey, they had a great run.
Mm-hmm.
We had a great run. A lot of the people involved. I'm glad that Paul's band 99 Crimes is on the bill.
Right, yeah.
Everyone in town that I hang out with is a Dirty Looks fan and a Paul Lydell fan, and Paul is a great addition to the scene. So what everyone in your camp has done just with this CobraCast party that you've been doing 2 or 3 years in a row now, I think, again, has proved that there is like a camaraderie,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it's important for people to realize that where were you? Why aren't you at this party? Why aren't you coming to this show? Or, and there's not, I don't think that there's, did you miss anybody? You got enough bands on the bill? Jesus Christ. Okay, good.
I wanted more, and Tony kind of stopped me. So me and Tony Park do the show 50-50 every year.
Right.
And I did a couple radio spots, and I said, if you're not at this show, you really need to sit down and reevaluate what you're doing with your life, because this is a great show.
Well, if you've been in town, it's a history lesson for people who kind of missed what was happening in late 80s and early 90s, because that's kind of what it is. It's like a best of. Think of it as a best of live album that we're about to make of Austin rock and roll around that time period. And you have what I call, it sounds like I'm throwing people under the bus, but I'm not, but like a Steamboat group of bands they played. And the Toys played Steamboat too, but everyone knows us from
Back Room,
the house band at the back room.
Right.
And then, it's like there was a lot of stuff that was kind of starting to happen after what I feel like left. We kind of like got into, the Toys, they're in radio and TV, which means we were not around at, sucking up free beers at the bar at the back room for a long time.
Nickel night.
We were on the road. We
you were
on the radio. We were on MTV, so we got into radio and TV. But that's, we were trying to pay the bills. And really, we were trying to pay back the money that they gave
recoup.
us.
We did as well. That was good.
Yeah, we were in it long enough to pay back all the money they gave us, and then it was kind of over.
You got a shiny gold album out of it.
And who knew?
That's the bowling trophy.
It was a
you
bowling
spend
trophy?
all the money for all the training. You got training season. It's like, well,
I
here's
remember-
a bunch of money. Now you got to pay it all back. It's like, why can't we sustain the? Oh, well, it doesn't work.
Tony told me the stories about with Arista and Clive Davis and the Push Monkey thing when they got signed. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I remember being over at Scotty's house with Jay Haygood when I think his gold album just came in at that time. And he goes, "Look at what I got." It's like, hey man, you got the prize. Good for you.
Well, our manager said when we got it he said, how proud we were of it, and saying, because we were really blown away by it. And he said, man, when you have this, look around at all your friends and all the bands and see who has one. You guys are one of the few bands that were able to attain that. And when we started, I remember when we first got signed and we were going to go out there, and some of the local guys would hang out with us and say, well, man, what do you think? And I said, dude, if we sell a couple 100,000, I'd be really happy. I was like, man,
if we sold 15,
we were like, dude, if we did okay,
it's still DIY. That's what a lot of people don't realize.
Right.
As soon as like, well, we had a record deal, we just kick back now. No,
not even close. Yeah,
the work has finally begun. It's like, you're selling your product and your T-shirts. Not technically out of the back of your car, but out of the, you're loading your own shit, and all of a sudden you're not loading your own shit. And there's a funny story it's like I remember there being some sort of meeting we had where, okay, well, we've got you guys a crew, and you got you guys a, what do you mean? What do you mean you got a crew? We'll load our own gear. Scotty was saying, well, no, I'm going to load my shit. It's like, you're not going to load your own shit if there's an arena, and I need you to be doing press. And
Right.
Like, mind's blown immediately. A bunch of punks from Texas who never had anything before, all of a sudden have a crew. What?
I have the weird thing with me the same way with this because
I don't want anyone touching my shit. I don't want anybody touching my
touch
shit.
my guitars.
So that's what that. But Scott's mentality is right. It's legit. But then you get used to, but you become friendly with someone who's taking care of your babies. Is ultimately what. If you're thinking your babies are guitars, right? So it's kind of drums, same thing, kind of turned into that.
Sure.
So it's kind of interesting. But I remember giving Mark a lot of credit here. Fleeting. It's all fleeting.
Yeah.
The things that you're going to have in this, great, wonderful, shining part of your life, how do you sustain that? Well, you have to probably wear some costumes and have some yes men around you.
Yeah.
And that's not really what we are in this for.
Right.
We want to make fun music and play gigs and, shake babies and kiss hands. Or shake hands and kiss babies.
Or both. There you go.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
We want to share rock and roll with people who want to share rock and roll with us.
I really think with you guys, man, you really, you got a resurgence going on because for a while, this is what I think. I'm not saying this because you guys are here, but for a while, you guys were playing like once a year. It was really fleeting, but now you're playing Dallas. You got
it's 3 times a year.
Was it 3 times a
No,
year?
I'm kidding.
Actually, we have 6 shows so far.
Yeah, what I'm saying, but I mean, and
That's
then there's
more than I thought.
and then I hear that you guys are slowly but surely working on a new record.
Yes.
And it's like, man, you know what? That's cool. People, I think people want to hear new toys.
Well,
I know
what we
I
found
do.
out-
I know I do.
That's a rabbit hole where
I know it's a rabbit hole. I know.
Well, but the
the
funny thing is the new song that we've been playing live, it's called "Hold Your Horses." It's on YouTube now, and when we play it
You
live,
had to say that.
well, it's been on there. Some live
But
versions of it.
There's
us playing
some
live.
pretty good cell phone versions of it.
They're total cell
And
phone.
there's some fucking
Horrible.
crappies though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's with everything.
Yeah.
I can show you a crappy
There's
version
some
of Rush.
There's some
you know.
videos of us.
Recorded
there's
at
some
4K,
videos-
people.
There's some videos of us playing that song really good, and then there's some videos of us like where we don't even know what we're doing.
But my point on that was that people are saying, because you think, oh, what's that going to sound like? This new toys, what will it be? And people after the show come up and go, dude, that sounds exactly like a Dangerous Toy song, and that's because it's a Scotty Turbo riff. And Scott's the riff meister, and he threw all those riffs in the beginning, and Jason painted over top of them, and Mike, and so a lot of that people are, and that's the biggest thing for us, that it's still like, God, you guys sound like something else now. We don't. That's not really true. It still sounds like toys, and the new stuff is staying true to what we always did. So
Yeah, I'm super pumped for it, man. I heard one of the titles because I was listening to one of the podcasts you were on, and it was Make Believe It's Candy.
Pretend.
Oh, Pretend It's Candy?
Pretend it's candy. Yeah, so does that not, let me ask you, does that not sound like a Dangerous Toys song?
It totally does.
Of course
And
it
it
does.
sounds like something I want to listen to because, I love all that shit.
If you have, super spirited, dick reference songs like Sportin' a Woody,
which we've had,
and then you have Pretend It's Candy right next to it. Well, it's a prequel.
There you go.
Or one of those is a prequel to the other.
and it'll
right?
make you smile. It kind of makes you
it's
the
silly.
lyrics.
I heard some of the lyrics. I think we were on Danko's show. Danko Jones.
Okay, yeah, I'll recite them. Pretend it's candy. If you yank my pretend it's candy. Yank my doodle, it's a dandy. If you keep this up, I may come in handy.
Beautiful.
It's typical.
That's pure poetry
It's-
right there.
But it sounds like something that Billy Gibbons would have written if
That's
you
true.
really go, oh, that's fucking terrible, Jay. That's so stupid. How juvenile. It's like, really? Okay, well, maybe South Park meets Billy Gibbons, because Billy Gibbons, Tube Snake Boogie and Slip Inside My Sleeping Bag
Yeah.
and Pearl Necklace and
That's the big one right there.
Aerosmith 10-inch record. It's all these metaphoric, phallic.
But
you know,
people are hungry for that kind of stuff because
people are hungry for cock. Is that what you're trying to say?
That too. Some people
That
are.
could maybe.
Not me.
I thought that was a dead issue.
No,
I think people like to fantasize about that maybe a little
But
bit.
people like music that puts a smile on their face. They can dance to, which I'm sure this is probably a boogie woogie song, you know. And
it is.
yeah,
It is.
and people can laugh and just have a good time with it, man. And that's what
It's an amped up ZZ Top riff.
There you go, man.
Yeah,
Nothing
we're
better.
a Texas rock and roll band. We're like a funny fog hat.
Funny fog hat.
You know what I mean?
I
We're
love
like a
fog hat, too.
fun. Oh, me too. Oh
Fucking-
my god,
the live record?
oh my god, dude! High five. That's the shit,
Dude, I've been
That's
playing-
my favorite.
You know what's really weird with me? When I was a kid, I hated live records, but now
No, you can't say
I
that.
I have your live record on my on my playlist, and I listen to it all the time. For some reason, I love live records now. You know, I was jamming Double Live Gonzo the other day, Foghat's record.
Yeah,
Kiss Alive, the first
there's
Kiss
a
Alive.
bunch of them. Yeah,
Yeah, but what I'm
UFO,
saying is,
Strangers in the Night.
Stranger in the Night. I was
Yeah,
actually playing that
All the
today.
World Stays. Rush.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
But what I'm
it's-
saying is, I'm really, for some weird reason, I'm just like really into live records now. I don't know what it is.
Unleashed
man.
in the East, Judas Priest. The thing is, a lot of them are not really live records.
They're not. I know.
They'll keep a lot of the drum tracks and then they'll just redo guitars and vocals. And you know what? That's fine. The interesting thing about the Dangerous Toys record is that was kind of an afterthought. It was a contractual obligation to Cleopatra we were working with. They licensed Pissed and the Artist for a little while.
Well, I just remember when
But
I heard about that.
it's really live.
Oh, is it?
That's really live.
I'll tell
And you can kind of tell that it's really live.
I'll tell you one of my favorite live records of all
because it
time.
kind of sucks.
I like it.
Me too, because it's really live. You know?
Yeah, so no, one of my favorite live records of all time is Aerosmith Live Bootleg. I'll tell you what, that album is like pure live, and you could hear the mistakes. You could hear the people smoking the weed out in the crowd. It's just
that's
so
it's
raw.
a smelly record.
It's
I love that record
Oh,
too.
dude, I love it to death.
Well, I was going to say do you remember when you found out that the Kiss Alive, it was the Super Bowl crowd cheering in the background?
Was that what
they
it
had
was?
Dubbed in the Super Bowl. No. And I was bummed because, I was original Kiss, dude. I saw them on just first shows ever. I saw them on TV, and then on the Mike Douglas show, Gene Simmons
that was
on
way
there.
back.
I was watching that show, and I was like, what in the world is this? And I immediately lit up. And but later on, I found out that was the Super Bowl.
Was
And
it
I was like-
really?
I
The
was
Super
kinda
Bowl crowd
bummed.
for live?
I was kind of bummed. Like,
Yeah,
Wow.
that record's barely live.
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
There's been interviews and stuff where they're talking about it stuff. So I'm just glad that they're all candid and going. They're not. But it's a digital world now. It's like now you don't want to hear Gene Simmons talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you don't really want to hear.
I'm all kissed out, man. Because we're talking about going to.
I still have their posters on my wall.
Do you really?
Oh my god!
My
yeah.
mom's got some of the. Oh man, if you saw the shit that I have, I mean, the posters are probably a little torn up, but they're rolled
I'll
up and
take 'em.
stuff. I had one the size of this, Kiss Alive 2, and it had all this stuff on it. But remember the solo posters?
Yeah.
I have the ones of the solo covers from
Nice.
'78, and then
Yeah.
all the solo ones from Love Gun have all of those.
Nice.
Well, I see you got
So-
the action figures.
That's a long story with all this. I had a ton of stuff for years, and a lot of it boxed up. It was actually still in cartons and stuff. And my ex-girlfriend, was in one big closet full of stuff, and she's like, you ever gonna do anything with this stuff? And I'm like, I mean, none of it was really collectible because when they did
I'm gonna have a podcast one day, and I want to have some cool shit on the shelves. All right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, what do you call it? A lot of that stuff's not really collectible because they made so many of them when they did the second round, like in the '90s. When the reunion tour came around, they made so many. Everybody was buying cases of them.
This McFarlane shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the original.
The only ones I like are the alive ones.
Yeah, I had.
No. I'm not.
Oh no. But what I'm saying, I had that. I had the Creatures box set. I had the Alive box set. And so she's like, "Well, why don't you try selling some of this stuff?" So I eBayed it all. Made a bunch of money. Not a bunch, but a good
You
amount of
did
money.
well.
Yeah,
That's good.
So these up here are just ones that I couldn't sell because the boxes were a little messed up. So I took
Right.
them out and put them on top of the shelf. I mean, that's all they are. But
Well, you have some action figures
I'm
too,
sure
right?
you got a crazy amount
I
of stuff.
do, and my Alive series, which is they look so good.
Yeah.
Are still in the. They're still.
they
in
have
the
to be, yeah,
plastic.
yeah.
Yeah, but some of the plastic is yellow.
Yellow, yeah. If
And
the sun,
ironically, my Gene Simmons, he's one of my guys, is like immaculate. The plastic is
Right.
still clear, And I guess the UV rays,
Yeah,
they don't even have to
it's-
be in direct sunlight.
Oh, really?
And they get, and the UV rays somehow at some point, mess up the plastic. Anyway, yeah, that's a whole rabbit hole.
That's
But I've
another
gotten
rabbit
rid of
hole.
A lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
but I got rid of so much stuff,
Yeah.
and but yeah, I'm all kissed out because we're talking about, hey, we're gonna go to the Irwin Center to see that last show or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just not really the same anymore,
Well, you're not the same dude anymore.
Well, not
You have
even
to
that.
Think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
too.
I'm not gonna get into the original four and all this kind of shit. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And
Right.
Sure.
Tommy Thayer's great. Eric Singer is great in
Yeah.
their own right.
Oh, they're phenomenal
I think
musicians.
that they've really, really carried Gene and Paul a long fucking way, and bless their hearts for that. I feel really strongly about Kiss. I still do.
Yeah.
The up through 79, 80, 81, they were fucking untouchable. That's all I got to say.
yeah, and I mean, I listened to Creatures yesterday. You want to talk about a drum sound? Holy shit! You're listening to that?
Yeah.
God damn, the remastered version? Good Lord. Anyways, let's get to this show. I know everybody, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were telling me, man, this is like what made you want to do this? We were just talking about that, but, we put together a show that I wanted to see and what Tony wanted to see, And if I wanted to put all the bands that, should have been on this thing, it would have been a 2 or 3 night thing. So we kind of had to narrow it down,
Well, let's talk about them.
Yeah. But
Who,
anyways,
who was it that
Huh?
who would you put on there?
a
If
couple
you
of
could
your
have
bands.
If you have a two,
Couple of your other bands.
Oh, so you can't make it a Jason show. That would
Well, that's
kill
what I'm
me.
saying. That's what I'm saying because
Oh,
there's
right.
2 bands that have a couple mutual members. So we try to narrow
Right.
it down to couldn't bring Igniter into it, so I couldn't bring So we're doing for next year. I already have a bill for next year, like a prototype bill,
That's cool.
and we'll talk.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, so we're gonna do it again next year. I mean, but you got to start, putting it together. But we got to
Right.
get through this one first. That's the main
Right.
We're glad you asked us.
thing, dude.
Yeah. Once again, like I said a
Dude.
little bit ago, I can't thank you enough.
putting you guys
For
on
just-
top of this, it was like the cream of the crop on
Yeah,
top.
that's a lot.
Not the
that's-
cream of the crop.
That's
but
too much pressure. That's not
the
one of the
frosting.
Hey, thanks for putting us in the headlining slot. That's
No,
not what
dude,
I'm. That's not
no.
what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
We would have played it at 7 p.m. and it would have
Yeah.
been fine with us. Remember that. It would have been fine with
7
us.
o'clock next year. I'm like,
Yeah, but the point
I know
but the
what you're saying,
point is just thank you for including us.
Yeah, man.
Because look just
we're gonna go through it.
look at it.
I know it's
Look at it.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, on this Saturday, come and take it live. Saturday, January 25th is starting at 5 p.m. The CobraCast Birthday Bash Slamboree, starring the one, the only, the infamous Dangerous Toys on top of this bad boy. You guys going at midnight, right?
Yes.
At the midnight hour.
Yep.
Yes.
I was really worried about that because a lot of the headliners want to go on at 10:30 now and stuff, and
Well, it's like I was saying, we want to go on at 7 p.m., but
at
it's
7
too late
o'clock,
now.
we're a little old. We got to kind of get our rest.
I think everybody will stick around on this one because
fuck yeah.
you got the Cats of Vallejo, Push Monkey. They have their own little crowd too that'll stick around and
Push
watch.
Monkey's
all
not
this
playing, but
No?
no, not this year.
3:33.
So we'll go through. Let's go through the
333.
list. Like I said, Dangerous Toys on top. Vallejo, 333. Blackheart Saints, the Dirty Worms, Madam Radar, who used to be Texas KGB.
Oh, okay.
Rock Holiday, which is Matt Bray from LC Rock's band. 99 Crimes, starring the one, the only Paul Idell. And School of Rock Kids are going to open it up at like 5:25.
School of Rock Southwest?
Yes.
Or School of Rock Round Rock?
School of Rock Southwest.
Okay.
The brand
'Cause
new one.
I would know if it was School of Rock Austin.
I know you are. So what exactly do you do over there? I know you're a singer, but you play guitar also and bass.
I teach guitar, bass, and vocals
Nice.
for 15 years.
I didn't know it was around that long.
It's been around. It started in Philly about 20
Well, I mean-
about 20 years ago.
I know, but the Austin location.
Oh, the Austin. We're one of only about 4 corporate schools out of
wow.
about 200 worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, they just opened like 14 schools in Brazil.
And I know they added one in Cedar Park is coming. Southwest just opening.
Yeah, Southwest is opening
Getting
now.
Round Rock.
Getting big.
It's getting
Yeah.
monsters. The kids are great too.
Yeah, it saved me. I finally am able to give some back in the right way.
Yeah.
And there's an old slogan. The school. It's a corporate school, so there's many slogans, right? 'Cause
Right.
It's a corporate. It's not a nonprofit. You know what I mean? It's my job.
Right.
Is saving rock and roll one kid at a time.
There you go.
it's kind of real, kind of perspective on it. Right?
Well, we went over to ACL this year, and
that was us.
I know it was you. Yeah,
That was my school.
And I was over there, and the funny thing about it was like if you did the ACL experience this year, they put it in a little park called Kittyland. So we started walking.
Yeah, our house band hates that, but
So
it's in Kittyland.
So we walked in and
got these 17-year-old kids who can play guitar solos or make your head spin, and they're in Kittyland. It's kind of
there was one girl, a bass player, and she was like sort of like a Flea, that vibe to her. Killer.
That could have been Anna Grace.
Probably was killer, and I don't know how any.
She's probably. I hope no one's listening to me say this, but she's probably our most badass player at the school.
Yeah,
right
she's
now.
killer. I mean, me and Tony were like talking about her, and I said, man, I'm surprised that like an Austin band doesn't try to suck her up,
Oh, it'll happen.
Oh yeah, totally.
It happened. It has happened before. It's going to happen again.
Yeah. So for our thing, they put together a house band, which does all their corporate little events and stuff like that. It's like the best kids. They audition for it, and they'll be doing. I think, I don't know how many kids. I think it's like 11 or 12 kids. And you know how it works.
Tony went to go judge it.
He judged it. Yeah,
help them pick their house band. Which, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I don't even get to do that at my school.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, I mean, we kind of biased on your opinion,
No, not necessarily. Maybe
because you work with the kids.
Maybe
you know
in
what I mean?
the fact, right? Well, maybe. Well, the people like our house band, they have to audition. Even though, let's say, there's a kid that's been on the house band since he was 12,
right?
And he's 17 right now. Okay, he's had to audition for that spot every year.
Oh wow,
that's how we do it. I mean, there's all this slew of up and coming kids, who have come of age. There's 12 and 13-year-olds trying out for our house band at School of Rock Austin. Every year, but the people who have had tenure, people who have been on our house band for, 3 years, 4 years going on, they have had to audition for their spot.
Oh wow,
every year. Sometimes they don't make it back in, and then they have to wait another year. They have to step out, and then they get back on. So it's spotted that way. So I would be biased only to my vocal students or my guitar students. I would be like, oh, I thought that was great. I think they should be on our house band is called the B team. It's just the name of the band.
Right,
it's
right.
a joke on the A team, right?
Okay.
So our B team, I think so-and-so should be on that's where I would be biased. So you're probably right by way of, I probably shouldn't be in on the judging of the auditions for that.
Yeah, I think I'm Bob from School of Rock, Round Rock, who owns, I think, all of those over there. I'm emceeing the opening event over at the Southwest one.
Oh, okay.
The grand opening.
At the Southwest School?
Yes.
But Bob from Round Rock is involved in that as well? Okay,
I think he
cool.
owns... he's
doing both of them.
Yeah, he's doing...
Wow,
the
small
Round
world.
Rock... Yeah, Round Rock, Cedar Park, and I think he owns them all. And I think Alex
man.
Alex Vallejo is actually going to be running the Southwest one. I think Josh Roush from 333 is going to be doing the Cedar Park one.
Well, I thought Alex was running the Round Rock School.
No, he's there now, but he's going to move over when they open it up full blast.
So he's got Bob is putting him. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
okay,
think
gotcha.
that
makes sense.
And I talked to AJ Vallejo the other day, and he's actually going to be a instructor over, I think, Round Rock. I think now.
Great. Yeah.
So they're getting all the superstars over there. Jesus.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Well, even
Killers.
superstars need a fucking job.
Fucking doing gigs in Austin don't pay anymore, so I do this for free. I know what you mean.
It's in your nature to slow down at least a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm just going balls to the wall right now.
But AJ is a busy guy because he's got
a lot
hands in a lot of shit. I recently, I don't know, everybody. Do you know Johnny Gowdy?
I'm good friends with Johnny Gowdy.
Great. I
roasted him about a month ago.
I love Johnny Gowdy, but we're not close.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to catch up with him because I have some projects that I think would fit with stuff he has going on. And
right.
We've been playing phone tag. It's been a bit ridiculous, actually. But I really love Johnny Gowdy. He's always been so sweet to me. And I just in some of the following I've done, just looking into what he's got going on, him and AJ have a fucking cooking show.
They do it, but it's like once every once every 6
okay.
months they'll do it. It's not very.
Okay. I thought
so-
it was a thing. Never mind.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
They
where
don't
they
have a
just,
cooking show up there.
Well, they
doing it.
sort of do. It's like
Okay.
cooking with AJ and Johnny kind of a thing.
But
it's like
that's
yeah.
cool. I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think Les Fisher is one of the instructors over there, drummer. You know Les, right?
He's great.
Phenomenal.
Les in the Funk Mob. He's
Yeah, no
Les
kidding,
plays
yeah.
with everybody.
He'll
He
be
ju-
over there
he just
Saturday
can.
night.
Great.
So
great.
everybody's going to be, I mean, like I said, this is going to be one big family reunion. Everybody knows everybody else. And it's like, you know what? It's going to be, I think it's going to be better than last year.
Great.
know?
Well, just thanks for having us. I know I've said it 100
I know.
times.
But it's going to be so much fun.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal to us.
Really?
Yeah.
Man,
it's a
I'm
big
humbled,
deal
man.
to
I really
be-
am.
To be brought in for this.
But let's go over this. We'll talk some more, but let's go over this bill one more time. This Saturday, I can't believe it's already here, man. We've been planning this thing forever, you know. You guys came in like right towards the end, not say the end of it, but because we really didn't think that you guys would do it. We're kind of like going, you know what? I don't know, man. What the deal was, what my deal was, I said you guys just played there like about 6-7 months ago. And so I'm like,
Correct.
well, they're
That's
probably not
correct.
going. They're
June.
probably
that's
not going to
correct.
want to play again. So
we try to do a summer or a fall show at Come and Take It every year, and we might still, but it would probably be, the end of this year because this year's still brand new.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It'll probably be in the end of this year because we love Come and Take It. We love Anthony and just anything and everything
It's a
those
cool
guys
place.
put together.
It's a
they've-
great venue.
They've
great
really
venue.
brought a lot of mainly what I'm paying attention to is the heavy metal world,
Mm-hmm.
the underground metal world. That's where everyone goes now. It's either there or emos. So that block is kind of like this holy, or shall I say unholy, hallowed ground because it's where the toys were discovered.
Really?
The back room.
Oh, the
is
back
right
room.
There.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
right there. It's
Oh,
the same
you
address.
know what?
Other end.
I totally
It's
under.
2015 East Riverside. That's all you got to remember.
Oh, my God.
It's
I remember-
hallowed ground, man.
Do you remember when that joint was? It used to be a Tejano bar, way back in the day.
you're talking about
Come and Take It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that? So
Well,
when
I wanted to say
yeah.
it was called Cocktails.
might have been.
No, that wasn't the name of
That's
it. It was
not Cocktails?
Tejano,
What
though.
you're
I
talking
can't,
about?
boy, it escapes me too what it was.
Yeah,
but
dude,
yes.
it was. So I got here and it was really funny because.
But it's called. It's been many things.
well, it's been Come and Take It for about 4. It was Antone's for a hot minute.
Well, and
For
then
just a
before that,
minute,
it was
yeah.
the beauty. It
Yeah,
was the beauty bar.
it was a bunch of stuff.
It was called something else before that.
Yeah. So I remember when I
It was
first.
called the Grizzly.
Oh, Grizzly
It
Hall.
was called the Grizzly. I played
Was it
the
Grizzly
Grizzly
Hall?
a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm glad they've been able to make a great run.
Oh,
of it.
I'm telling you, the bar's awesome. Anthony's a sweetheart to work with. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, everything we threw at him for this show, he was 100% with, and no problem, knock yourself out, go ahead and do it,
Yeah.
But the funny story is when I first moved here, I got here December 17th of 1991, right? And I didn't know anybody. This fresh fish from fucking Connecticut didn't know anybody.
Sure.
Sounded like Andrew Dice Clay. I was just that kind of guy, And so I pull out, I go to, I don't know if it was Thundercloud at the time or whatever, got a Chronicle, and I see at that Tejano bar, it says wet t-shirt contest. I'm like, you know what? That's for me. So,
Oh, shit.
that's for me.
I
So-
hope you don't tell too many people that.
No, so anyways, I go over to the place. It's total Tejano, right? And I walk in, I got hair down to here, leather jacket, biker. And I walked in, and I looked around, and everybody's looking at me. And I made it like probably to the end of the wall. I'm like, I'm in the wrong bar.
Yeah, you are.
So I turned
you are.
around and walked the fuck out. That was it. So I mean, but one of the very first shows, I'm going to say it was the second show, was you guys, Dangerous Toys, and Pariah at the back room for New Year's Eve.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, that way, and I didn't know anybody. I just drove up there, and I lived North Austin at the time.
So you were only in town a couple of weeks before you
Yeah.
saw that show?
Yes,
So New Year's Eve 91
Going into
at the-
92.
at the back room.
yes.
Yeah, that might be on VHS and a box in my garage.
Might be. You might see me somewhere in there. I don't know. Who knows?
Nice.
But yeah, it just goes back, man. We all kind of like connect in different ways,
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Austin.
Thank you so much,
Yeah, you're
man.
welcome.
20 years later.
Fucking almost 30.
30
It'll be
years later.
30,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So hey, any Spinal Tap stories? I've always wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah, but if I can remember, there's one where we couldn't find the stage.
The head bump?
Really?
Well,
That's
no,
funny.
that's separate. But we were in maybe Philly or St. Louis or Pittsburgh or somewhere out that way. Could have been somewhere in Ohio in one of those really cool old theaters,
Right.
And we were out with LA Guns, I think. So it would have been October, November or so of '89.
Okay.
And we're in. And there's spiral staircases on either end of the stage, and there's even dumbwaiter elevators and stuff, and it's rickety, and the place is old as fuck.
Yeah.
And our dressing room is a closet way up in like the fourth tier of because they would do plays there, and they would do Broadway shit there. And so, this little dressing room, hallway, just stuff, tiny, like you're on a cruise ship kind of a vibe. And we're going, all right, yay, it's showtime. And, the stage manager comes and gets us, and he's got a radio, and we're da-da-da-da. And he's like, you guys got this? Because I got to go on the other side. Yeah, we got this. And da-da-da-da. We open a door, and no stage. And we're like, oh, let's go. Open a door, no stage. Oh, shit. And it's like the intro tape is going on.
Really?
And we're like, oh, fuck. It's like skin of our teeth made it.
Oh my God.
That kind of shit happened probably more than once. But in my head, I wish I could remember the town and venue. But yeah, that really happened. And then the thing Mark is talking about where he calls it bump on the head. We were at the old Studio 54, which turned later into the Ritz.
That's right.
New
That's
York.
right. Yeah.
Right. So there was a car waiting outside for us, and we were doing some press in the basement. And in the basement, there's the plumbing pipes are hanging low, and the cement beams are hanging like this low.
Jesus.
Like literally, like maybe 5'11". That's the
sort of like going to the stage at Come and Take It Live when you get on.
Even if there were correct. Even if there's signs that say, "Hey, watch your head, dummy," even if there's signs that say that, didn't see them. And we're going, oh, we got to go, man. They've been waiting for 10 minutes, and we're in New York, and who knows who's going to get a ticket. So, and we're running out the door, and like, boom!
Oh,
I
no.
just crammed my head, man. Huge. I was growing a horn out of my third eye.
Weird.
Man.
We were like,
Oh, my
this
God.
is not
blood,
good.
blood and shit. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, hematoma from hell, huh?
We were on it was after our show.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Well, is it?
Well, it's a little better than before the show, right?
And then we get in the car, and it's like ice, and oh my God, we were on our way to I want to say it was a concrete marketing party, and there were a bunch of other bands, and some of us were going to get up and do a jam, play some AC/DC or Aerosmith or whatever. It was like a bunch of East Coast metal bands who were just jumping up and, hey, party, go, all in promotions for their new crop or whatever.
Wow.
Concrete marketing. Yeah. So there's one that, people got hurt.
There's probably so many stories you forgot, never mind remember.
The PA caught in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and I think in like 91, the PA blew up and caught on fire. Yeah. And we're still playing, and they're unplugging a cabinet with it on fire, and two big galoots are picking it up and taking it outside and spraying it off with the water hose. We're still playing, but you walk out, thank you, good night. You walk out back, and there's the PA cabinet, which once was smoldering in the parking lot.
So what you glean from all this is that if you tour a lot, the Spinal Tap is based on reality.
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah.
The humor in that to bands when you watch it is that, dude, they're doing exactly what we were doing.
Yeah, that's where they got a lot of that stuff from.
We just accidentally did those things, the little bitty breads and the whole, all of that stuff.
It's so funny because like the younger generation never seen that movie, and I'll turn it like the school rock kids onto it. Hey man, you got to watch this movie because it's very it's so real.
Let's be clear, if they're old enough to take a dick joke.
Oh yeah, but
because
kids
it's
are
all
now.
dick jokes and herpes and the schlong and with the
cucumber,
the zucchini,
the zucchini,
or whatever.
the
yeah, all of that stupid shit. So
hey, so when you guys played Connecticut and stuff, did you guys do it would be like Toad's Place maybe?
No, we
do
never
Toads?
played Toads.
But we did play New Haven. We did play New Haven a few times.
Yes.
That's where what do you call it? That's where that's at.
That's where Toads is.
Yeah, Toads
But we
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
do Toads. We played this other place.
Yeah.
I remember.
But we've
What
been
about
to there a few times.
The Agora Bar, Webster Theater. You probably did.
Yeah. That
The-
was probably the cult tour.
yeah. Then the Agora Ballroom was big when I was like kind of coming up before I left.
I think that
It's a
we
crazy ass
well,
shows
well
that
it was
place.
either Webster and then again with some. It was probably one of those with LA Guns and one of those with the cult.
Yeah, Webster was like, man, I'm trying to. That was like sort of like after I left and stuff.
I still have old itineraries and those venue names are in there somewhere.
I would see the craziest bills over at like you probably appreciate this one. I remember seeing. I got to tell this story. You're probably gonna come over, jump over the table and punch me in the face. It was
Doubtful.
No, seriously, this is a great story. But it was the Agora Ballrooms. They had one in Cleveland. They had one
Yeah,
in
we
West,
played,
West Hartford. They had it.
We played those. Yeah.
And it was the tour with Wasp, Metallica, and Armored Saint.
Mm-hmm.
And at the
Wow.
time, we were
85.
we were big Wasp fans, huge
Of course.
Blackie Lawless fans, right?
course.
Didn't know who Metallica was. Right.
That's fair.
Yeah. So we go watch Armored
I see
Saint.
why you think I'm going to jump over.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
smack
yeah,
you.
yeah. So
You're
anyways,
saying you didn't know Metallica in '85?
no, but you don't. So Cliff
Sure.
Burton, the whole thing.
Right.
So we watched, Blackie Lawless and Wasp and all that shit, right? Then we're like, well, who's this Metallica man? Fuck that, we're gonna leave. So we left.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Who's this headliner?
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
they were switching back and forth.
Oh, they were. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they were. So Wasp at that
For
point.
a hot minute. They
Oh,
were.
or they hot minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember other shows. I mean, it's a greatness, for our generation. But I remember seeing like Yngwie accepting Loudness on a Tuesday night there.
yeah.
Sure.
Crazy
What
bills. The Agora Ballroom.
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah, dude, just fucking killer shows.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't see. It's Operation. What was that? Operation Rock and Roll? What was it for the Judas Priest thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you put that bill out today, just say you put out today, say like Lemmy was still around and all the bands were still intact, do you think that would sell today?
I think so, but it probably wouldn't be in fucking sheds. It wouldn't be in places that hold 15, 20,000 people.
You could probably do a Cedar Park Center or something, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
More,
3,000.
more,
Yeah, but look at this
5,000 seaters, maybe.
Look at this Motley tour coming up. They're playing stadiums. They're actually selling them out, believe it or not.
Sell them quick.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, so I think everything is kind of making a turn to coming back and everything.
I think that's a fashion show.
You think?
Don't talk to me about a Def Leppard Motley Crue tour. It sounds terrible to me.
I know, but I know I'm not going to go.
Sounds like a fashion show.
But I'm not going to
Hey
go.
man,
It's a
somebody's
place,
digging it.
the Cougars want to break out their old outfits.
Yeah,
that's
that
all
don't
it is.
fit.
They don't care that there's going to half the backup vocals are on tape.
Oh, I know.
They
That's
don't
sad.
care. They don't care.
Well, all I can say is we got a real rock and roll show on Saturday night.
Yeah, no samples.
This is
I hope
ridiculous.
not. No samples Saturday night.
I'll be the
not
only
from us
sample
anyway.
myself.
No samples here.
No
Yeah,
samples.
Yeah. If what you hear coming out of the speakers is what you hear coming out of my mouth. So
Let's go over it one more time. Anyways, this Saturday, before I even get into the bill, I want to let everybody know we're doing something a little bit special, but I'm trying to save everybody a little bit of money. So we have leftover paper tickets. What we're going to do is we're going to sell them at the door. First come, first serve. $22, which includes, sales tax. We got to give Uncle Sam his little bit. You know what I mean? So once those go, it's going to be $25 at the door. So if you want to save a couple, $2, $3, I know a lot of people want to save a little money,
yeah.
Get to the, and we got School of Rock, got Rock Holiday, we have 99 Crimes going on first.
$25 is pretty cheap, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, but we're going to put these tickets, get rid of those tickets, and once they're done, $25.
So you got some cheapies going right now?
Yes.
How much? 20?
$22.
22?
We had to add the extra $2.
That's not that much.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is we're just trying to, take care of people, and I know times are tough for some people, so next couple bucks here and there kind of help.
I'll give someone $22 to come see this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
I don't know.
I'll buy a ticket for them and walk them to them and I'll deliver it.
Anyways, Matt Belangi's on here says Jason McMaster is my hero with a lot of exclamation points on
A
the
lot
end.
of phallic symbols.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I love him too.
and
He's
Metal
a good
Dave,
dude.
Metal Dave is on here. He's got his horns up, so
Okay,
everybody's
Nice guy.
watching.
Very
what
good.
a great guy.
How great is Metal Dave?
he's pretty fun guy.
I love fucking Metal
He's
Dave.
one of the most positive minds
Yeah.
that I've ever known, and he's just killing it. His family, his
know.
son and wife are just smiley people and wonderful. It makes you wonder, like, what are they like when you piss them off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't even see Metal Dave pissed off.
Yeah.
And the things that I know of his wife and son, and I'm friends with
No,
his
I know.
family.
Yeah,
I'm friends with his family.
You're really good. Yeah, good friends.
So the point is I've never seen them even have in a bad way at all. So
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, give me some of what you got.
He's like, I'll tell you, and every time I see him, I
Good
go,
people.
every time I see him across the, I'm like, Metal Dave! And he hates me calling him Metal Dave. I known him since Metal Dave like for 25 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I call him.
I think that's a name that when he had hippie hair, he just had like the death metal hair. You know, it's like just all one link down to his ass. And I sorry, Dave, I like your hair like that. Anyway, he's probably respected more since he's got his hair cut like Rod Stewart now.
Yeah,
or
he's
whatever,
had that
but
for a long time though.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. So,
But you will never find a bigger Dangerous Toys or a bigger Broken Teeth fan than Dave. He just loves you guys.
well, bless.
And we
his-
love him the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
great. Bless his heart. But the point I was going to make is I feel like he should be called like Rock and Roll Dave.
Rock and Roll Dave.
Or Punk Rock Dave. Or like Sleazy Rock Dave.
I like
Because
Sleazy Rock
When
Dave.
you think about Sleazy Dave.
Sleazy Dave. I like that.
All right. That's a new name for Metal Dave. Sleazy Dave. Yeah, Sleazy Dave.
Sleazy
gonna be
Dave's this
there?
new thing.
Yeah, let's mean you should
That's
just
it.
start calling him that.
I'm gonna call him Sleazy
because
Dave.
Metal Dave, I think, was just the old Dave, and,
Right.
and it was a nickname when he started hanging around because he moved here from San Antonio.
Right.
And when he first started going to all the underground punk rock shows downtown, I think he fell in with Houston, Richardson, Belligerent 86 was the band he was in back there. I think
Yeah.
he was in, I can't remember all the bands Houston has been in, but Mike's, what's they called? The
Brutality?
Brutality, yeah. And I think that Houston gave Metal Dave the title Metal Dave.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, just because he looked like a metal dude from San
Right.
Antonio, you think, oh yeah, Metal Dave. Yo, what's his name? Metal Dave, and it just kind of stuck. And I think that
He's Sleazy Dave now.
well,
I like
just 'cause
Sleazy
of
Dave.
the tunage that he likes, and he loves metal.
Oh, he loves it.
He
Yeah, yeah.
loves metal.
Oh, yeah.
But is, he's more Ramones.
I remember seeing him last year, and he had a couple of nips, and towards the end of the night, I said, Dave, you having a good time? He goes, I'm having a fucking great time. He goes, but the question is, are you having a good time?
There you go.
And I was stressing out like a motherfucker last year
Oh,
because we're trying to run
Sure,
things and
sure.
everything,
Sure.
But my vow for this one is I'm going to have a good time this year. So
Good. Usually
You got
when
to.
when
You're
work,
working, you're
it's
trying to
my
make your
show, so I
gig
kind of
go.
have, whatever going
well,
on.
when you walk by the promoter, it's not like, hey, Bobby, how's it going? It's like in your beelining for someone.
No.
Yeah, cool. Hope you're having a good time. Business.
I'm gonna tell you
on the
what,
phone,
though,
yeah,
we got all
divert
bases.
your eyes.
Yeah, we got all bases covered this year. So I mean, we got a stage manager, we got a back door guy, a front door. I think PJ's running the front door for a little bit. So I'm gonna have a little bit of looseness so I can go have a good time because I want to see everybody.
Right.
I want to take a nice 4K video of everybody. I mean, I really just want to have a good time this year.
Well, you will.
Yeah, it's gonna be
will.
great.
We'll make sure of it.
Metal Dave just sent, or Sleazy Dave just sent us a big old heart. So
What
he's,
up, Sleazy Dave? I don't know if that one's gonna stick.
I don't know. I like it. I like the Sleazy Dave thing.
Me too.
Yeah, I
But
know
it
you
just
get
fits
to.
with the kind of rock and roll that I know he's really into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, anyways, let's go over this bill one more time, people. This Saturday, January 25th, this thing starts at 5 o'clock. I think we're doing a VIP dinner from like 5 to 7-ish. The School of Rock kids are going to go on at 5:25, and the reason it's to 25 is because we have to give all the kids an equal amount of time to play, so it's going to be around 35 minutes for
I'll
those
still
guys.
be at work.
You'll still be at work?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, what
We'll
time
be at the School of Rock.
You're at the School of Rock. Well,
I'll
maybe-
be at School of Rock Austin while School of Rock Southwest is starting to rock the people
Rock the
that
joint.
are there for dinner. Yeah.
Nice. So, anyways, people, the CobraCast Birthday Bash Slamboree, like I said, this Saturday night over Come and Take It Live, starring the one, the only, the infamous Dangerous Toys.
Who let this guy in?
Nice. I could have added more, but I don't want to, I don't want to butter your
We're
muffin.
sitting
too,
right here.
I don't want to butter your muffin too much, and
Yeah.
you
Sure.
get a big old head and stuff.
Right.
So, anyways, besides that, we have Vallejo on the bill, 333, Blackheart Saints, Dirty Worms, One of my favorites. I just love those dudes.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. They're crazy as fuck. Madam Radar, who used to be the Texas KGB, Rock Holiday, which is Matt Bray from LC Rocks, 99 Crime Star, and the one, the only, Paul Idell.
I bet he loves that.
I'm not gonna say
The
star-
humble,
I'm not gonna say
man of
starring.
it. Everyone's like a Paul Lydell stalker.
Is it really?
No, I'm kidding. But the people who know Lydell
Yeah.
love some Lydell
Love him.
Nice
because
guy.
he's humble and
He's a sweetheart.
awesome. He's solid as a rock, like Mark said.
Yeah, caffeine freak, from what I understand.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll tell you, me and him have
Need
that
one
in
of these
common.
to go, maybe.
Hook you up, not a problem.
Nice.
Anyways, but like I said, the school rock. We're doing something really special because we're gonna keep continuing to do this show probably till like keel over and die. So School of Rock is gonna be an opener probably forever. So what we did is we were talking about
School of Rock Southwest.
yes,
Is-
I guess
okay.
one of those.
You don't know.
We'll figure
One
out.
of the many. 'Cause
School of Rock is gonna be there.
in some form.
in some
Right.
form. As you know, MC Overlord passed away a year and a half ago, and he did a thing called Big Don, which was for kids. He wasn't affiliated with School of Rock, but a lot of his friends, like Alex Vallejo,
Vallejo Brothers.
yeah, they were all friends with him and good friends with him. So, anyways, Patrick Davis, right? From 105.3 The Bat.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, anyways, he came up with this thing. We're going to call it Big Don's Next Big Thing. So that's going to be the title for
I
School
like
of
it.
Rock Forever.
In honor of MC Overlord.
Yes.
I love that.
So he came up with that. So every year from here on out, we're going to do that. And so it'll be the School of Rock house band that's going to open it up. So they will have to audition every year, like you said, and do it that way.
Cool.
That's it.
Any special? Hey, so you guys got anything special planned for the midnight slot? You're just gonna go out there and kick ass like you always do, or what?
No, just play songs that we want to play that we feel like we feel like you want to hear.
Which is probably all of them. So.
Songs that we want to play that we also feel like you want us to play.
You will recognize them.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I will.
We're playing "Hold Your Horses." That's the popular
one?
newest
You will hear a new
one.
song.
Yeah,
I haven't heard
we're
it
gonna
yet.
Play that. Oh, really?
No, I have not heard it yet.
It sounds like it fits right in there. If you blink, you miss it because it sounds like all the other shit.
That's what I was saying. It's
Well, that's
totally-
right. It's a good way to promote
It's kind
it.
of what you want, right? It's kind of what you want. It's
Yeah.
just
Judge
like,
for yourself.
oh,
but
that-
I think you'll see.
oh, that new shit doesn't sound like the toys I
Let
like.
me tell you
know?
something, man. There's so many bands, like older bands that I like, that are putting out the best shit of their careers right now. Because the way that I see it is,
A lot of people would disagree with that.
well, I know, but I love new music. I love all my old stuff, my 60s, 70s, and 80s stuff. I love it. But I love
we
when
need
like
to remember this day that he's going to probably be the only one that buys our new record when
Doesn't
it
matter.
comes out in 2025.
2025.
We don't know
we're
when it's
kidding.
coming
Jesus
out.
Christ. You-
We don't know when it's coming
You need
out.
to
It's a
get on the horn.
slow-moving train.
I can see that. 2025. Jesus Christ.
Well, that's only 4 years away.
Fucking something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, honestly, though, man, I look forward to like bands that I love putting out new
Yeah.
stuff. Like
That's good.
one of my bands is Loudness, and I love when Loudness puts out another record. I
So
fucking
badass.
dude, how fucking great are those guys?
So underrated.
We've done Monsters of Rock
Oh
with
my
him
God.
twice, and Scott is he loves Akira and speaks with him and loves him, and yeah, we
How
love
great
some
of a
Loudness.
band are they?
been
though?
worshiping Loudness since like
Many years.
mid 80s.
Yes, and they know about toys because Japan. We have little people over there that got into us when we went to Japan, but they were aware of toys. And Max Norman, quick sidebar,
Yeah.
There you go.
went right from Loudness record to
Oh.
toys.
You know what's really funny is the guy that, man, I'm not good with Japanese names, so I'm not going to try to fuck his name up, but the singer of Loudness,
Yeah.
Mike
Minoru.
Mike Viscera is from our scene
And
up in
he-
Connecticut.
Yeah, Obsession.
Yeah,
And he made a record with Loudness.
I know he did.
He
Yeah, yeah.
may have been one of two American singers. No, I think he might be the only American singer that's made records with Loudness.
Yeah.
The only other singer I can think of that worked with Loudness for a while, and I don't know his name, but Easy O, the guy from
Oh
Easy O.
shit, I love those guys.
Those
Yeah,
guys are
I
great.
love
We met him in
Easy O.
Hollywood at a clothing store. We
So
ran into the guys from
badass.
Easy O.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find. I have Fire, but I can't. I don't have the first one.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I have that. I have that
Yeah.
album, but I don't have the first one.
Yeah, the self-titled is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
They used to be called Flatbacker.
That's right.
And I have those records.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I have the
Wow.
Flatbacker stuff. And you know the riff for House of a Thousand
Listen,
Pleasures?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That thing that's pre-Cult of Personality riff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is a song. There's a song on the Flatbacker record with that riff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I think Gene Simmons, when he produced
He
that
produced the whole thing,
debut
yeah, yeah, yeah.
record, he heard that riff and he was like, "Oh, you need to make a whole fucking song out of that riff.
Yeah.
That thing is badass," you know. So they did, and I think that Z-Rock used to use that as their sound drop.
Yes, they did.
They go into a commercial.
Yeah.
Wow.
Historical.
They did like 2 records, and that was it of them. I think. You know. pretty
No, I
much.
think that they
Did they
kept
do more?
going, you know, and that
Might have
guy jumped to Loudness for a second.
Oh,
and-
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if you might be right. They may have broken up.
I think they did 2
may
records.
broke
Because I have the Fire record.
Yeah.
Like I said, the first one I'm on eBay all the time
Chris,
looking for the first
some
one.
Austinites wrote a couple songs on that Fire.
Oh, really?
You need to read the liner notes.
Wow.
Yeah. Junkyard Dudes.
Oh wow.
Chris Gates and David Roach are, I think Jamie St. James, Black and Blue
Black and
fame,
Blue, yeah, yeah.
wrote some songs on Fire.
God.
It's
Yeah, but like-
history, man.
I know.
History
It's
lesson.
just,
Small world. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, but I'm on eBay like probably once a week looking for that first EZO record.
I'm looking for Dirty Looks on vinyl. So
What, the first one?
Help me, first 2.
Cool from the Wire.
Yeah, Cool and Screw.
I got it on
I
cassette.
don't have them on vinyl. Well, that's pretty cool.
I got it on cassette at my mom's house.
That's pretty cool. I'm not going to your mom's house to borrow your cassette.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick up that record collection because, dude, I'll tell you, there's some.
You got to get that shit down here.
It's like
man.
about like this, you know. There's, I mean,
That's
all the
worth
old
it.
Kiss
That's
stuff.
50
and
records. Go get it.
at least, if not more. But
Yeah.
man, I got original. There's tons of original stuff. I'm super
Nice.
pumped to get it back. But I don't have a turntable anymore, so. But like I said,
You will.
the
You will.
first,
There's room for it right here.
Yeah,
I'll spin while you talk.
There you go. The first Toys album I have on vinyl. I never got them on CD. I just, and I would always like borrow people's, cassettes or whatever
Sure,
kind of a
sure.
thing. But now with the digital age, all that stuff is, it's available for everybody. So
Right. You just turn this stupid brain
Oh,
on
my
right here.
God.
This
It's everywhere.
it's
ass
everywhere.
phone. You just turn your ass phone on and you got anything you want.
Yeah, all I can say
Where
is,
the bands don't get paid very much.
you think that's ever going to change?
No.
You don't
It's
think
going to get worse.
You think it's going
The
to get
younger
worse?
generation, School of Rock kids, they feel like music should be free. That's a whole nother
Oh yeah,
show.
it is.
It's a whole nother
100%.
show. Right.
But there's got to be. I mean, there's got to be something.
They don't want to buy anything. They don't even want to pay their Apple Music bill because their parents pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
10
I'm not
bucks.
paying for your Apple Music bill. What do you mean you're not paying for my
Yeah.
Apple Music bill? Well, you're going to get a job and pay for it yourself. Oh, you mean you've been paying my? Oh shit. See what I mean? Maybe that'll
$10 a
change.
month. That's all it is.
Maybe that right, but maybe they'll understand a little bit more that that's people's intellectual property that they're stealing.
I know Paul Stanley had a big deal about it. He was on I think it was on Joe Rogan's
He
podcast,
has
and
every right to be
Yeah.
upset about it.
and I think that what people's argument is, well, you've been around for 40 years and you're a multi-gazillionaire and you have all this money, but why give a little bit up for the public kind of a thing, But people, you got to realize it goes back to when we were kids, man.
That's like asking somebody who's got $5 and that $5 belongs to me. It's
Dude,
the
I
same-
remember-
really, you care about someone else's $5 who obviously needs it more than you do?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, I saw
So-
something too about somebody said Lars was right.
Paul's
about
in his
Napster.
right.
He called it a long time ago, and they said because back when he was arguing about Napster, they were saying, "Dude, you guys are loaded."
Well,
We're
you got to
mentioning
think about
Yeah.
it. There was a guy basically bootlegging, giving away Metallica
And
music.
he was right about Napster.
And
You
if
know,
it
they were
wouldn't-
trying to wank him,
and
but
if
he
it
was
wouldn't
right.
have been Lars, it would have been somebody else.
Somebody else.
Somebody else would have been
Yeah.
sitting in the hot seat in front of Congress or whatever.
He took a beating over that too. Man.
That's
Jesus.
okay, but it would have been somebody else's
Right.
Jesus. Somebody else came back. Here's the deal. Thanks to Lars, or whoever it would have been, if it wouldn't have been Lars, it would have been somebody else. Thanks to him, a working musician, I'm talking about me and Mark and
Right.
whoever else out there, they
Right.
know what I'm talking about when I say this. We now see money we would have never, ever seen for our intellectual property.
Right.
Thanks, Lars.
There you go. I mean, for like Spotify and all that, do you guys see a good check
It's
or like
minimal,
minimal, but it's something.
Like I said, Spotify's the worst. They pay like a fraction of a cent.
Yeah.
There was an argument. There was an article. I meant to say, Peter Frampton. Peter Frampton came out to say, "Show me your way, ooh baby, show
Yeah.
I love your way." Or anyway,
Right,
some
right, right.
Peter Frampton massive hit, one of those songs. I'm mad at myself because I can't think of the song now. But you know what I'm talking about.
Right,
One of his
yeah.
massive hits got played on Spotify or one of those platforms 17 million spins.
Well, that's nothing compared to the story I'm about to tell you.
streams,
Yeah, yeah.
streams, 20 million
Yeah.
spins on one of those platforms, and I want to say it was Spotify. Got a $1,200 check.
Yeah. Well, there was that one with Desmond Child. I listened to a podcast, Desmond Child, and he said the biggest hit that he has is "Living on a Prayer" with Bon Jovi.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. So he was saying that I think in 2018, I'm not sure if it was a 19 thing, but 2018, a 500 million spins, downloads, and guess what his check was?
Fucking nothing.
It was like $6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's a 500 million downloads and spins or whatever. You know
So
what I mean?
there's those fractions of pennies that are, I have to wince when I say adding up. What the fuck?
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Right.
I'm not for a normal artist. I mean, for a local artist to get $6,000 a year, I guess that'd be sort of
Sure.
okay. Maybe I don't know.
Not
but
well, Desmond Child.
A local artist, you're sort of like putting a spin on. It's not Desmond Child, and it's not Bon Jovi, and it's not Steven Tyler. You're saying local artists
Yeah.
would be someone who's in the trenches and it's DIY, and they're paying for their studio and their record pressing and
Yeah.
their website bill and their gas money, and they're paying for all of it out of pocket. So they either have mom's money, or they got a badass job where their paid month vacation is when they tour,
Right.
or whatever. So that's not $6,000 ain't shit,
Yeah.
because they've spent $12,000 just to do it.
Yeah, it's like the MMA fighters, same kind of thing.
Right.
You know, where they have to spend all this money on training camps or whatever. And some of those guys, I mean, they're early on if you're not into like UFC or whatever, a lot of those guys at the bottom of the bill, they're making $3,000. You know,
Yeah,
fight.
sports references may not fly on this side of the table.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
right
But what I'm
on.
saying is they spend more than they make. How's that?
Sure, oh, yeah.
Always.
You know?
Always, and it's that'll put it in perspective. It's all about the passion.
Yeah. And I know you're a lifer, so I mean,
It's all I got.
that's all you got. You've been, I mean,
It's all I want.
All been killing it for years. I mean, and toys have been around for what, 30?
87.
87,
Yeah.
late 87,
Yeah.
barely 87. You could say 88 and not be wrong,
Yeah.
because I walked into Mark's house sometime mid-October 1987, and
Yeah.
it never came out.
I mean, but like to me personally, I think you guys sound better now than you did back then. I mean, you're like, we're all at an age now. We're seasoned. We've been there. We've done that, or whatever the case may be. And you're just laid back, having a great time. Band sounds great. You're going to be making new music. I mean, what's better than that?
It's all we can do.
And
It's all we
you still have a fan base. A great fan base that other bands lost years ago.
Well, it's because they gave up. They figured, it's all in the reasons why you do something.
Yeah.
If your expectations are high and then they don't get met, and then you
Right.
jump ship like I was talking about earlier, you're not in it for the right reason.
Right.
If you just can't wait till the next time you grab a microphone or a drumstick or
Mm-hmm.
your guitar or whatever, that's pretty much why we still do it. It's
Yeah.
because we love the way that it makes us feel when we play a rock and roll song together. And there's just something to be able to say. I'm getting kind of mushy over here, aren't I?
No, not at all.
I feel
Just being
like
honest. You're just being honest.
I
That's all.
feel like when you can say that you are in a group or a band where you can look and say, wow, we've been playing the same song for over 30 years.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that. And most of my bands that I'm in, I can say, some of them are 10 or 15, some of them are 20, 25.
Yeah.
This one's 32, 33 years now. It's kind of crazy, and it makes me think. And it means it goes back to what I just said. It's like you're doing it for the right reason. You're not doing it for money or any
Yeah.
other's fleeting moment, or it's not live fast, die young. It's live a full life so you can do the things that you feel like you were meant to do.
Yeah. Well, all I can say, people out there, get ready. You're going to get your ass kicked this Saturday night with all these bands on there. I don't know what else to say. Or I mean, just, forget about Sunday. Take Monday off because you're going to still be recovering after Saturday night.
If you don't know what rock and roll is, you're still welcome to be there too. We'll show you what rock and roll
We're going to
is.
go over this one more time, and we'll let these guys loose because I know they have busy lives and shit, and they sick of talking with me. So, anyways, this Saturday, January 25th, over at Come and Take It Live, it's the CobraCast Birthday Bash Slamboree, starring the one, the only, the infamous, the greatness of Dangerous Toys.
Way too
Still
much fucking-
bringing it after all these years, still kicking your ass with great music. I
This
can't
is
believe
gonna
this shit.
make me slap
This,
you in the
I'm going to
face.
tell you what, this is humbling us. I mean, you guys are privileged to see these guys. I'll tell you what, if you buy a ticket, you will not be
Is someone
disappointed.
paying him to say this?
I'm paying myself. I'm paying myself with nothing.
No, it'll be a good show.
It's going to be a great show. Anyways, Dangerous Toys, Vallejo, 333, Blackheart Saints, Dirty Worms, Madam Radar, formerly Texas KGB, Rock Holiday, 99 Crimes, and School of Rock, Southwest Austin, with a VIP dinner at 5 o'clock to about 7-ish. So anyways, if you're not there, like I told you before, you need to sit down, turn off your Netflix, turn off your whatever you're doing, your TV. You need to sit back and reevaluate what you're doing with your life because this is one hell of a show. It comes around once a year. You're going to get your ass kicked. Bring your mother, bring your father, bring your sister, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. This is a date night, Jason. This is a date night show.
Bring your kids.
Bring your kids.
Bring
School
your
of Rock.
kids.
Bring your kids.
Bring your kids.
Like I said,
That's the thing. Dangerous toy shows. I see.
it's kid.
See. Wow, I think I know her. Oh, that's your daughter. That's your grandparent. Oh, the whole family.
Isn't that
is there.
fucking crazy now that
The
like
kids are like 20, 21.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, whoa, it's like a whole family.
dude, I see like friends we used to have back in the scene, the back room or steamboat, whatever, and they got grandkids now. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Then I start feeling old, and it's
real.
like, god damn, I don't even have any kids. Never mind that. Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank
This
you
has
for
been
having
fucking
us.
Thank you,
awesome,
Bobby.
dude.
Hey, and
Thanks.
everybody keep tuning into this. Bobby's doing great work over here,
Yeah,
man.
this
is
is
very
good.
cool.
Now I
and
know
you're
why you
staying
have a
in touch.
podcast
Why?
because you look good on a microphone.
I'll tell you,
This
I
is
look
all
good.
good,
Yeah,
yes.
I got a face for radio. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You got a face for
yeah,
radio.
You got a
That's
face
a
for
good one. I
radio.
like that.
You like to
I
hear
like
the
that.
sound of your own voice. That's two
I
peas in a
love it.
pod,
I
me and
love
you.
it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right, people. Like I end the podcast every single damn time. It's 2020. But hey, people, please try to do the right thing because Lord knows most of you don't. With that, we are out of here. See you Saturday night. Going to be a great show. CobraCast Birthday Bash Slamboree starring the one, the only, the infamous, the greatness of Dangerous Toys.
This
Go
guy.
check it out. We are out of here. Peace.
See ya.
All right, boys, we're done.
Good one. I'm going to race you to the restroom.
I'm winning.
Jason drank the coffee.